So, heading to the Cathedral of the Pines, or that area. I may look for somewhere different to camp, because the Cathedral of the Pines, some mushies, is dark, really dark, which in the winter, or you're with mates, it's not a big issue, but I'm on my own. I was filled with anxiety again. Very much at the point of not coming at all, and then this walk, it's not too bad. It was a bit intimidating. Get off the train, there's a bit of an incline at one point, but then it's this, well, 7 minutes of very steep, what feels like 45-degree incline, 40-degree, maybe 35, but it feels like 45. So I finished the steep incline, and I'm on a more gentle incline here for about another minute or two, and then it should be plain sailing to the area where the cathedral is. But where the road is steepest, it is also the most beautiful. So there's no pavements, having to make your way for traffic, but it's not too bad traffic wise, and people are considerate. And yeah, and now I'm starting to see some of the wild flowers that are out now. Some that are the first that I've seen this season, so like vetch, just down there, member of the pea family. And what was the other one I just saw there? Dog violet, common dog violet, which I love, lovely little flower. All the other stuff that I'm seeing, you got the primrose is up, bluebells, although I'm always differentiating between native bluebells and non-indigenous Spanish bluebells. But yeah, God. So the other thing I've experienced is, there's all that anxiety before you leave the house, and I could even I realised I wasn't even breathing. It was just this tension, and even just the act of walking and being exhausted is helping me breathe at least. So that's a start. But also a little bit of the familiarity. I've been here before. I camped here once before solo. That night I was a bit panicky and hearing noises and as per usual. But those things sort of get into your head as a memory, and then you become less. That memory is then what you were like when you start thinking about somewhere to camp. You're remembering not sleeping, remembering being spooked, not remembering all the other lovely stuff like. Right, I think this is up to the peak of sorts, and the view's lovely. You see the forest that I'll be going into, and these wee bits of forest area, and then it's like bog and heath, upland habitat here. And this is actually the first place that I ever heard a grasshopper warbler. I might have heard them before in my life, but never knew what it was. And I saw a buzzard earlier there being attacked by a magpie. But I'm kind of here, well, not here for this, but there have been sightings of an osprey, which is, I saw last year, I think it was, for the first time. One of those magical, mystical birds for me, and getting to see it was just whoop, like a fish eagle. So I was here yesterday, and I've been seen again this morning. So I'm kind of here for the osprey, but I'm not really here for the osprey. I'm here to be here and do this and process all that. Look at this dude, fucking fair play on the bike. There's me moaning about walking. Fair play. Another little issue is, and this was in my head a little bit, that there's been antisocial behaviour in this area, which really involves scramblers and sort of, because this is a reservoir area, so it's NI water will be looking after this. And I can see an NI water van over there, which, so they may be policing this a bit more, you know, keeping an eye on things a bit more. So I don't know if I'm going to be spotted with my rucksack and told to go elsewhere, or, and to be honest, I felt like if you'd said that was going to happen about an hour ago, I would have been actually relieved, like, to get me out of having to do this, to end the anxiety. And maybe this is part of the anxious avoidant thing, which I've been looking into a wee bit more, sort of relationships and attachment styles, and I am a anxious avoidant, and this is a pure example of this. It's like the anxiety, the avoidance. I don't want to feel it. Just end it, escape it. Yeah, chaffinch. I call it an audible tick. It's like deep. There we go. Right, onwards. See if I can avoid this being spatted. It is scorching hot. See the van. What I'm thinking of doing is seeing if there's another entrance further up here. And I'm wearing a yellow top, so it's not exactly no vis. So I reckon I will have been spotted anyway. But I'll be very, very visible to where the van is. If I just go up the first entrance. So I'm kind of hoping that, you know, if I go up the second entrance, that it'll be harder to find me. Even if they know I'm there, I'll be into the forest and it'll be harder to scoop me. And it's not like I'm not doing anything wrong per se, but it is NI water land, and so there's kind of a blind eye turned, I suppose. And really the antisocial behaviour that they're clamping down on is the scramblers. But the fact that they're there and have an eye on it makes me a bit more cautious. So now it just looks like I'm doing a through hike. Right, hopefully it's not too far up for this. Don't think it is though. So yeah, it's funny how, like an hour ago, if you said I was going to be told to turn away, go away, it would have been a relief. Whereas now I'm avoiding that. So obviously the alchemy has happened. The inner alchemy has taken effect. The anxiety has been diluted or transformed, transubstantiated. And now with the sun shining, tell you what, even just the fact it was, forecast was decent for up here last night, and then it was just super dark grey overcast in Belfast, and it just did not lure me out. Did not give me the feeling of like, yes, I want to get out in that. But even just these little glimmers of sunlight makes a difference. The smell of the gorse, oh, that is pure bliss. Lovely. Oh, how things can change in a short space of time. So I can see the second car park coming up. Now there's also a possibility that NI Water have a second van staff member up here too. But I don't imagine I have the resources for that. We'll see, who knows. Who knows. It is what it is. And either way, I'm glad they've got it. Oh, the view's just great up here. And warm. There's no cold wind. Those ever-present cold winds that seem to be blowing for the past 2 years non-stop. Oh. Awesome. So no NI water van. And this wee area's totally changed. I remember when lop down all the larches for some Japanese tree disease or something. Although apparently that would have been the long-term plan, to clear a lot of monoculture forestry commission type plantations and then grow native and big trees. And that's what's actually happened here. So there's looks like, or it might be willow actually, but it looks like there's some birch up here and then some sort of fir pine, Douglas fir, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, this is nice. It's become like a wee young woodland walk. I'm not against all change, but I suppose it depends where the change is coming from. But I do like this planting indigenous trees and getting rid of the dark monocultures, although that's kind of the environment I'm going to be camping in tonight. Oh, here's the wee main trail in. Decided to come in through the woods. This is actually, even though it's like a sort of pine plantation, it's kind of a bit more open. There's a bit more light gets in, which is nice. And there are plantations like that, and I feel like they're older. They're older plantations. I was up in Hillsborough last Sunday there, and it was like that. You know, there's still like a lot of light getting in, and a load of wild flowers growing underneath the canopy. Whereas the part that I tend to camp in here, I think it's maybe in your plantation, it's like really densely planted, and then there's no light and nothing grows underneath it. And one of the reasons why I'm not really drawn to it is it feels dead. Like if there's something to it. It's not a terrible place. It's been really good and it's facilitated lots of lovely camps. But with my bros, I think that's really different. So camping on my own, like, I really want to find the beauty and find lovely places to camp. So I'm kind of in the woods to familiarise myself and make friends with the trees. So that I don't feel like, oh, I have to go into the trees, into the darkness to set up camp. Ooh, it's kind of muddy here. This will be interesting. Oh, maybe I can jump this bit. No jumping necessary. Oh, this is a jump. This way. Big step. But yeah, this is nice. Nice woodland. Loads of light. Would I camp here? It's kind of close to the trail. Also with these big deep puddles in this time of year, I think it'll be a fly fest. I can really feel flies. Sort of stagnant water gathering in puddles and mud. Recipe for the midges. This is a bit more of an obstacle course than I anticipated. So I decided to bail on the woodland. Oh, here, flies galore. Oh my goodness. Cloud off hundreds of little tiny flies. I'm happy to get to the reservoir now and see if there's an osprey. I'm sure there'll be other birders. I don't consider myself a birder. Sometimes refer to myself as a bird geek. But I'm not a typical twitcher. Like, it's just some birds are special to me. I feel like they're almost like a spiritual thing. Like they're my spirit creatures, like my totem creatures. I gotta have dreams about birds. And it goes way back to childhood. I wrote about this in the memoir that I which I did write but haven't finished. But, you know, sitting as a child at the bookcase and going through the bird book, it was like one of my safe places. Me and the cat looking through the bird book. So yeah, it's been with me a long time, and like, osprey are not indigenous. Would have been indigenous to Ireland at some point. Oh, there's a hawk kill, falcon kill. Oop. Looks like a wood pigeon has met its end. The circle of life. So yeah, so it is, it's pretty magical. Something like an osprey, for, you know, they're migrating through from, I think, Africa, or America, sorry. Yeah, from America to Senegal, places like that, making these huge journeys and laying over in places like Ireland. And they, I think they're encouraging some to, you know, set up residence, and I think that has succeeded, although I think actually it's just happened naturally. I don't think it's been really any human intervention has caused it to happen. But I do believe there is a pair of osprey have actually bred in the north of Ireland. So that's exciting, that's brilliant. And a lot of this stuff is to do with tourism as well, because like people go to see these things. So, you know, money's always involved at some level. But for me, it's just something very spiritual, and by the way I connect with nature, and they're almost like dream creatures, symbolic of something. And so yeah, if I see an osprey today or don't, doesn't usually matter to me. But especially actually if I'm, just because of the way I'm wired, if there's other people there expecting to see it with their scopes and their part of me will be like, fuck this. It gives me that zoo vibe of like the expectation, like it's expected to be there, as opposed to, oh my god, like, so even seeing like maybe a less exotic, but like a yellowhammer or something that I didn't expect to see somewhere, that would be like, oh my goodness. Or a great spotted woodpecker that I didn't expect to see. But whenever there's this feeling of like, we know it's there, we know it's been hanging around, it gives me these zoo vibes. Right. Oh, the sunlight has come out again from behind the clouds, and oh, this just looks lovely. So I do, I haven't said all that, you know, birds are spiritual, like almost like dream creatures, and I do check the bird blog, the local ones like NI Birds. And it was amazing, like I remember sort of when I first discovered the blog and just seeing the variety of birds that actually came to this country, and I was so astounded, you know, which is probably why I started then, you know, regularly checking in on it to see what's about, you know, like I never knew that, you know, like occasional golden eagles would be seen, or white-tailed sea eagles, or osprey, shrike, all sorts, hippo, all these, you know, random rare birds, and turning up in Ireland. And actually Ireland's an amazing place for birds. Birds migrating from all sorts of places in various seasons of the year. It's incredible, whether it's like the winter geese and the increase in like small bird populations during the winter, and then in the summer, and my wee birthday bird, as I used to call it, although it's getting earlier it seems, but I think it used to arrive from Gambia in West Africa and turn up at places like Bog Meadows in Belfast and Tilliesburn, and would like arrive on the 1st of May, and my birthday's on the 2nd, so I saw it as my birthday bird, but and the wee males would start calling on the day after arrival to mate. And yeah, just knowing all these things actually existed in Ireland is absolutely fantastic. So that's actually a fantastic country for birds. And but so yes, I do check. So there's a bit of bird geekery there, checking the bird blogs and seeing what's around. But I would rarely, and sometimes it actually does. Yeah, sometimes it does give me the sort of incentive to go somewhere, like, and trying to decide where to go sometimes. And like even today, all the anxiety especially, it's like, if I'm going to go for anything, it'll be an osprey. And because of the anxiety, I probably would have I would have leaned towards going somewhere that was, you know, more familiar, that I have camped solo in a lot more. Like at the fire break, you know, that'd be a go-to spot. But yeah, the relationship with anxiety is one that I'm very interested in, what it means, and Do we need to understand the origins of it, or do we need to just learn ways to manage how we deal with it? It's lovely being by the water's edge, and actually I would love to find a spot to camp at the water's edge rather than like having to go from the water's edge, watch the sun go down or whatever, and then feel like imprisoning yourself going into the doom and gloom of the dark forest. Sun's come out a little bit this moon. There's quite a strong, cool wind blowing up this way, which actually reminds me of the last time I was here looking for Osprey. But also, being windy, this is a perfect conditions to test my little Lavalier mics. Got these off AliExpress for like £13 or something, maybe more than 15 maybe, but really good. Like, it seems super duper quality, like they don't seem like they're thrown together. So it just comes in a wee charging case with the adapter that goes onto your phone, and then the two mics, and then it comes with a wee, whatever you call that thing. So so I'm sitting in between two of these dams here. Like, actually, because I previously seen the Osprey down in this reservoir, but it seems like it may actually be up in this top one, which actually is nicer to look at. It's a prettier. It looks like a more natural lake, and there's so many like beautiful trees around, not just the sort of plantation, like the woodland plantations, but a variety. So it's actually much nicer. And actually, the last time whenever the Osprey was down this other reservoir, I kept turning around to this one because it just looked nicer. The other one just looks so man-made, artificial, whatever. This has a little bit of the nature niceness about it. So yeah, I think I'll just hang out here for a while anyway. Just enjoy being here. Nothing else to do but just be here and sit. Hopefully the sun won't come out whenever the sun's not out shining. The cold wind, and it's kind of nippy. Oh, I might get a wee bit more sun. Here we go. Because actually when the sun's out, it's lovely, it's warm and beautiful. There's wee Willie Wagtail. Hello, Willie. Over there is an Osprey. Could get it in the binoculars. Like, I very much doubt I'm going to get much good footage on this mobile phone. But even just to document these moments of watching this wonderful bird. I remember last time when it was here, I thought, it was great getting to see it, but to get to see one actually fishing, swooping down to the water would just be so magical. It's coming over closer. Yeah, this is already a better sighting than the last time. Wow. Oh, coming down to the water's edge. Then swoop down. Oh my god. Amazing. Did it get anything? Don't think so. It's going back for another go. Ooh. Oh, what's went in? Oh my god, amazing. Right, I'm going to put the camera down because I'm never going to get better footage than that. I'm actually just gonna watch it in the binoculars, I think. Yeah, it didn't catch anything, it's going back again, I think. Got to see the Osprey and got to see it fishing. Amazing. So, the other birders have gone. And there was that cold wind, my hands are freezing, and I forgot gloves. And literally that was enough for me to think about bailing and camping and not going camping. And I give myself total permission to not camp. But yeah, just that feeling of the freezing hands going purple. But, you know, as soon as you're out of the wind, it's like so different. So I've chosen, like, even though I still haven't committed totally, I've chosen to get out of the wind. I'll go into the woods and like just find somewhere to hang out at least, and just find a wee beautiful spot. So I think I'll do that, at least get some food, we'll see. So I'm gonna head into the woods, try and find a beautiful spot, and I do think I'm gonna try and find a spot that's not the cathedral. I don't think that I want the darkness. I don't want the darkness. I want the beauty and the light. So yeah. And I think when we found a cathedral, it was because we wanted somewhere that was really discreet, where we could like get the axes out and chop stuff without worrying about people seeing us. So different agenda here. Let's see, it's nice in there. Dodgy bridge crossing. Here we go. Success. Looking for camping spot. But actually in that piece of woodland, I get so much better vibes than I do in the normal spot. There's also, one of the things I love about the cathedral is there's really good water source, which is brilliant, but there's water everywhere here, flipping reservoirs, and yeah, water galore. This is a much more beautiful piece of forest. And then, you know, quite often it's usually the anxieties that make me want to be so hidden away that, you know, there's no chance of anybody seeing me. Or I love here I can still see the reservoir as well. It's just nice. I like the idea of waking up and seeing the light hitting that. So yeah, and actually walking into this dark woods where it's so quiet and dead, like, and you're so hyper aware of every single noise you make. It's like that's actually anxiety inducing as it is. So I think I might try and just camp in a new spot, open up new territory, and this might be it. I love that view. At least my hands are warming up a bit. Jeez, that was cold. That was cold enough to make me go home. Right, river crossing. All the sorrel, it's all everywhere, it's lovely. Abundance. Right, here we go. Beautiful little dog violet. Just a wee solo one. All alone in the woods. Just like me. So I'm not entirely sure, but I think I found a spot. And just taking anxiety out of the equation. If I had no anxiety at all, would I camp here? Yes. And that's not... Obviously there's things that you should be wary of, but just in general with like... This is a lovely spot. It's got a view over the lake. So anyway, I'm going to allow myself to be in this space for just to relax into it, and maybe, you know, set up my hammock and my tarp, and even still with enough time that I can just take it all down and go home if I need to, or want to, or decide to. We shall see. definitely ticks the boxes for beauty, the view. Yeah, it feels good. It feels good, basically. And anywhere I go, I'm going to have anxieties. So I may as well find somewhere that at least I don't think is going to be frequented, but is beautiful. And this, I think this fits the bill. So we'll see if I stay or not. It's hard to come back from whenever you're almost deciding to go home. It's hard to bring yourself back from the brink. Because you've almost given yourself an out, given yourself an escape. So it's hard to, like, talk yourself out of it. So this is my latest hammock. Got rid of all the others. This is just one I got for 12 quid on eBay. Some brand, Discapati or Disipati. Had a look on their website, and I think this seemed to be giving money towards veterans. Anyway, it seems pretty new. It didn't come with the lines to have the mozzie net up, so hopefully I remember to bring them, but I think I should have enough bungee and stuff to basically sort that out. Hear people down there. Yeah, and if I'm here, if I spend the next few hours here and don't see anyone, then I'm pretty happy. But this is prime real estate. Just hearing the birds as well, that other spot, the cathedral, there ain't no chirping. Yeah, I'm kind of like hoping I decide to stay and camp, because to open up this spot and to have this memory, you know, if I have a good experience here and having this memory of this beautiful view. So yeah, that would be the memory that I'll have when I think about camping in this area again. Nearly let it slip. Yeah. It's important to create those good memories, you know. So it's like and knowing what your memory is of a place and why it might put you off sometimes. And so yeah, if I can like forge this little spot out and forge a good memory, then I'll be thinking of that the next time I think about camping here, and I'll be like, yeah, let's go back there. That was lovely. So that's what I'm hoping for. Still haven't committed. I've got enough time to bail still. I could even like spend 3 hours. It's like, what is it, 10 to 6? I could probably spend about 3 more hours here and still have time to bail. Even 4 at a push. Get the last train back to Belfast. Here we go. Right, these are my bungees that I made. Just bungee. I've got tons of bungee in the house. I just ordered loads off AliExpress or something. And then these wee teeny weeny carabiners clips. These are, I love these. So I've got those pre-made up. Oh yeah, the midges. I do have a midge head net. I've basically put my sleeping bag into a midge head net so that I always have it with me. But because now I've got a few sleeping bags, there's a chance I could take a sleeping bag that's not in the midge head net and then not have a midge head net. And I can tell already now that it will be required. Oh yeah. They're coming. They're coming. Oh, I can feel them already. No! Wouldn't say it's the best quality hammock, but it doesn't look badly made. You see wee things like the stitchings maybe gone really far off to the left there on that one compared to the other. So, but we'll find out. Even good gear can fail, and obviously my OEX did fail. And this underdog could be the winner in the hammock competition. It doesn't exist, but right, I've managed to survive that wee wave of midges without having to get my head net on. They're still about. Oh well, we'll see. Thought I might as well video this for your entertainment. If this, I still have trauma from the previous hammock fail and one other hammock incident. So, the moment of truth. Jesus. Quite low to the ground as it stretches out.
Hello over there.
So, still have that. Well, the worst that'll happen is a fall, and the upside of that is it'll give me a bail, and then I can go home to a nice warm house. To be fair, there's so many things to be anxious about. Like having a fire, should I have a fire, Hammock, new hammock, brand new piece of gear. Is it going to fail on me? Will I bring a backup thing in just in case? Is it going to be mid-season? Do I need to bring a mid-head in it? Is it going to be warm enough? All of that. So forgetting about camping, like just sitting here, like while this hammock hasn't broken. Well, but sitting here is like super comfortable. Being in a hammock is actually a really lovely, comfortable, you know, way to be in the woods. And with that view that I'm looking at now, that's so nice. The possibility of actually seeing the Osprey from here, because it did go into the trees over in that direction. Might have a wee hook. It actually was the Osprey, and actually much closer than where I saw it from the last time. So yeah, where I saw it fishing was actually just down around that area. So I might get an absolute cracker view of it. So another little thing I decided to do after last camp, because I used so many different like tarp configurations, and typically I've got 4 guy lines like pre-attached to the tarp, which quite often don't get used. Like, so what I did was like create little lengths of really thin, like 2mm cord with little 2-way beaners on them, S-beaners. Really, really lightweight, and I can just clip them on, clip them off, depending on which points I decide to use. So yeah, we'll see how that works. I keep doing this setup with like an A-frame type thing. I keep forgetting to do the flying diamond. Decided against that. It's huge, but also like that, the piece right in the middle is blocking the prime view, which is the middle bit, looking out over the lake. So I don't want to have something down through the middle of that view. I should be keeping a wee eye out for this Osprey while I'm doing this. Should be doing this from the other side. I think I heard a whistle from a dog walker. It should be totally cool anyway, like dog walkers aren't what you'd be worried about. But it is nice to be discreet. Flames Creed tarp. Brilliant. Prefer it over the DD. And that includes the DD Superlight. I prefer the Flames Creed. So yeah, I've just pegged in the back bit directly into the ground. So just pegs through the loops that are on the tarp. And then I'll just attach to it my little pre-prepared guy line things onto the corners, bring that down. And then if I can, I'll find a pole and then pop this up like that. So then I've got a nice view. You are not alone. I am here with you. Oh shit. Right, the midges are starting to bite a wee bit. They're not too bad actually, they're survivable. But I'm starving, so I'm gonna sit down, have some food, maybe have a wee cup of coffee, and then I need to find a pole, although I think actually there's plenty on this. Might need to saw one, and then I'll sharpen the end off a bit, and then stick it in there to give me my veranda. Okay, first things first though, food. He's out there. What are you? Who are you? Wee birdie. I'm surrounded by birds. Wee Rubinho. Hello. I love this. Surrounded by birds. Far better than being in a dead wood with no life. This is much more preferable. Yup. With my wee birdie chums. A wee long-tailed tit. So nice. So I try and do the vegan thing and have been for many years, but there's definitely going to be midges killed in the making of this video, either through me slapping them on my head, which I claimed self-defense, and then also while I was putting my food in my pot, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a load of like midges in there. There we go. You can only do the best you can. I'm just going back to this wee BRS stove. My only issue with the BRS stove was I felt it wasn't maybe giving me worries about stability. I hate the idea of like kicking over something accidentally, especially with a small pot stand like that. But as far as performance goes, it's flipping brilliant. I've had it for a good load of years now, and if anything, I might just buy another one as a wee backup in case I lose that or something, because I don't actually see it breaking. So on the menu tonight, I've got home cooked jackfruit with hazel. It's like, I don't know what it's like. I just make stuff. Basically, it's got jackfruit in it. It's got hazelnuts and onions, some tomatoes and rice. But I had some at lunch in work the other day, and it was so nice. The sun's coming out. Oh my goodness! The sunlight over the lake. Oh, hear that? Sizzle. Sizzling hot. Like right now, other than the midges, this is like heavenly. And you know, if you could tell me that's Loch Lomond, and I'd be like, oh, amazing. Birds chirping, the light getting in, the view, the jackfruit rice. Man. I don't want to put my head net on because partly I'm eating, so that'll be a bit annoying, and also it would ruin my view. So I'm just suffering. They're not biting hard. They're all right so far. I'm able to tolerate it so far. Stop. What a time. So the reason why I got the Ceanock water bag is because the wee Sawyer bags, the opening is really small, and if you've not, like, this is really awkward to fill up. So I knew like there must be something like this in the market with like that kind of big opening, and so yeah, that's why I got this. Felt like it was like more expensive than for what it is like, but I'm sure at some point Temu will have something. Oh, who's that there? No, it's not. Anyway, time to go and collect water. It's not big water, but it's flowing. That's plenty enough for me. Filled to the brim. So this is the Sawyer Squeeze. It just has a far better flow rate. It's a wee bit bulkier, but super reliable. You can back flush it, all that kind of stuff. And I got a decent deal on it. I think I got it for about £40. I think they cost about 55, 60. So yeah, most of the time I use this filters as a kind of gravity filter. So just attach the filter onto the bottom of the C-knock, hang it up on a tree, and then it'll just fill up my water bottles. But with the Sawyer Mini, it was more needed to do it as a gravity system, to be honest, because the flow rate was pretty pish. So actually with this being so much better with the flow rate, I could probably actually just fill up a water bottle within seconds rather than having to leave it to hang and drip little by little. Yeah, so that's another good addition to the setup. And there also is that I got a wee connector thing with it, so that allows me to attach it straight onto my water bottle. And in the UK, the smart water bottle thread is different, so it doesn't work with the Sawyer filters, but these active water bottles, I got this Holland and Barrett were selling, like doing 2 bottles for the price of one or something like that, or buy one get one half price. I went for the 1 litre ones, and I think even Boots Chemist did them for a while. I'm not sure if they still do, but anyway, those are the ones with the right thread for the Sawyer water filters. Yeah, I can assure you that flow rate is far faster than the Sawyer Mini, and that's not me squeezing it, that's just it hanging up, letting gravity do the work. And that's the wee connector that connects the bottle and the filter. And I just keep all this stuff in a wee, it's actually a wee Tesco's neoprene pencil case I got for about 99p, and then ironed on that wee patch. And then that's got my water bag, water filter, the wee adapter, all that kind of stuff in there. So yeah, while I was out looking for wood, and I realised just how close to the trail here that I am. I feel like it's good. This is actually good, like seeing, and I actually saw some kids when I was cutting wood. I could hear them sort of like yelping or whatever teenagers do, and I think that out of curiosity, probably seeing me, like, they're sort of decided to, skulk down a wee bit to see, and they actually came right past where I'm at, and there is there's a bit of a trail, so it's not that it's not going to be frequented, it's just about how often it's going to be frequented, and what times of the day, like stuff like that. Like actually, before we had discovered the Cathedral of the Pines, the place that we camped in this area before actually turned out to be used by dog walkers, and there's one morning I think we had about 3 people walk past, and everybody was fine. They were just like, hey, how you doing, morning. I think just because I'm on my own, it feels different. I probably would have want to squirt myself away somewhere, but it's this weird paradoxical kind of thing. It's a bit like the tent thing, where you seal yourself off from your surroundings, and it gives you compound mentality where you become afraid of what you're sealing yourself off from. And I think actually going and hiding away in really dark, quiet, dead woods does something similar. Like, it actually creates a different anxiety of its own. And actually in some ways, like meeting the teenagers there and just said hello and like told them how to get out of the woods, and but just those wee interactions, I feel like it's helping me own what I'm doing, if that makes any sense. Makes me feel better about being here, and the people I'm encountering are totally decent, ordinary folk. So, but yes, had I realised how close and how direct the path is up here, I probably would have gone back a bit. But I know, like, I found this spot and I was like, oh, this is like, if I had no other questions, didn't give a shit, this is where I would camp. So I'm sort of sticking with it. I'm going like, this is where I will camp, and if I come back again, I may well camp at exactly the same spot, despite knowing now the trail is right there. And I say once it gets past a certain time of the day and in the evening it gets dark, there's going to be less and less likelihood of anybody using any of the trails at all. There's a lot of shooting going on. Probably shooting wood pigeon or something. See the lovely pinks coming out on their reflections in the sky. Wow, that is beautiful. So nice. Cheers. Here's to committing to staying the night. Went down to the reservoir there and had a wee beer and a smoke, and it's lovely. And even in the walk down there and the walk back up to here, it was this feeling of like, it's beautiful, like it is really beautiful. If I could just forget the anxiety stuff, it's just like, this is lovely. And even like the wee anxiety about leaving all my stuff as well, which is quite funny. It's like valuable to nobody else but me. I had my valuables in my wee chest bag, but just leaving my tarp, leaving my sleeping bag, leaving my water filter, all these things are super valuable to me, but like to nobody else would be valuable whatsoever. It didn't play on my mind too much, but it was like, sort of, it felt weird walking away from it all and leaving it. It's almost like, it feels weird to live without anxiety. It's like, how can you live without anxiety? It's like a security blanket. It's like, how would my life look like if I didn't feel anxious? What would I do? Like, actually camping in this spot tonight was pretty much me saying, well, imagine I wouldn't be anxious. Like, imagine I'm not that person. Almost like fake it till you make it, maybe. It's like, pretend you don't give a shit, and then maybe it'll help you to start not giving a shit. Obviously, there's things to give a shit about, but a lot of the stuff that I'm anxious about is not those. I think earlier on as well, I had this feeling of like, is the anxiety, this is before I left the house, opened the door and left, is the anxiety specific to some specific thing? And the reality is it's not. It's this conglomerate, this cluster fuck of anxieties that, you know, like, kind of, I know, fine rightly, are not specific, and there's no real legit anxiety there. That helped me just really, despite the resistance going out, was this just trying to listen to the wise voice within me that's going like, this is just imaginary, illusory stuff. Yeah. Right, better get some more wood in this wee little tiny fire. Don't want a big fire, like a just small fire. Not only did I get to see an osprey today, but there is this amazing, almost full, looks humongous moon, orange. It's been rising up just over the horizon there. Wow. Like, it's epic. absolutely epic. I'll try and video it, let you see it. Morning. It's about 5:30. The birds are going. GSI Infinity backpacking mug. It's an adult sippy cup, insulated, and a wee cozy. Like, this is brilliant. It did have wee measurement markers on it, but they're gone now. But I use this every day. And the wee cozy works really well to keep your coffee warm, and it's cool enough now. It's like, although my hands aren't as cold as they were at 4:30 yesterday, and actually I was never as cold the entire night as I was at 4:30 yesterday afternoon. Yeah, it's cool enough. I would say it's just creeping up from about 8 degrees maybe. It's not even 8 degrees, sorry, maybe 6 degrees. Yeah, 5 or 6 maybe it was at the lowest, I think. So, chilly enough. But it's lovely. It's now getting bright enough. I can see the lake really clearly now. And birds are starting to fly around. And I've got my morning coffee. A pair of jay just flew past. That's nice. Yeah, I should hang out here a wee bit more actually, because it's a lovely spot. And I think it felt safer probably than, and not that I wasn't safe any other place that I've camped, but I felt safer last night. I think I got a wee bit more sleep than I normally do. But I was very confident whenever I did hear things that it was me generating them. like my stomach was making noises, and like I was kind of like, what's that? That's my stomach. And it also was synthetic sleeping bag materials up against your ear, and then little movements like at night time in a quiet forest sound pretty loud, and you could swear it's something else. So yeah, but no, it's really, really like this spot. And even though it is closer to the trail than I would like, I felt really good here. I did have a very small fire. And that was nice, actually, just for something to poke at. Even I think I went to bed at about 11:30 maybe. Had one beer down at the reservoir and then another 2 beers up here at the fire. And that was it, into bed. And the hammock was grand. I was worried it was a bit too short, but I don't think it is. My feet were warm all night, unheard of. And that was wearing my socks that I had on anyway, and then I had my wee nature hike booties, and then I put this fern eider puffy on, and I had it over my feet as well. But even though my feet were elevated, definitely, because it was doing that sort of banana type thing, and my feet were elevated, and I was like, ugh, even with all these layers, it's not going to keep my feet warm, because my feet are inherently freezing when I'm camping. But actually did the job. My feet were toasty all night. So yeah, I felt a wee bit cold in my back at times, and I actually think it's because the underquilt is not hanging low enough, so it's actually pressed up, tight against sleeping bag or against the hammock material, and so there's no air in order to trap the air to heat, like to allow it to warm up. So I've a feeling that might be what it is, which isn't a big issue. I can probably resolve that pretty easily. So yeah, and I think I've come up with an idea for keeping the midge net further apart to give it more width. Be not threading it the normal way and doing it the Ricky way instead. So yeah, I think I've got an easy fix for that too. 6 o'clock. Good morning. So I looked up and I saw the cloud and I was like, it looks like rain coming. And right enough, I managed to get some signal. Check the weather forecast, heavy rain forecast at 7 o'clock. It's now 6-ish. So there's no point trying to fight that and be on the move. I think I'm just going to have to wait that out. So I'll enjoy my coffee and then I'll get under my hammock and wait out the rain before moving on, I think. The other argument is like get everything packed away while it's dry and then move on. But I don't know if I want to be rushing and feeling that pressure to do that. We'll see. So I'm sensing this rain's going to come in a bit earlier, down at 7 o'clock. It's 20 past 6. So what I think I'll do is I'll de-rig my sleeping stuff, hammock, etc. Keep the tarp up, leave it for last, which is one of the beautiful benefits of tarp camping in general. It means, so the last things I'll pack away will be my seat and the tarp. If it does start raining heavily, I can just like have the seat underneath there without all that other stuff. Although to be honest, I could sit there with all that and just squish it up a wee bit and it'll be fine. But yeah, I think I'll start the process of packing away. Yeah, just double checking the underquilt there, and yeah, it's hanging like like nicely in a way. But yeah, I think maybe it's maybe too, once I'm in the hammock, it's too flush. But one thing I did miss with the OEX Bush Pro hammock, it had this other zip along here, so I would have been able to poke my hand out and just make sure that the underquilt was where it was meant to be. But but yeah, no, I'm pretty happy enough that the underquilt is staying in place at least. It's in the right place, just needs to be loosened up a wee bit, I think. So yeah, pretty happy with that hammock. Yeah. And as I say, I think I'm going to have a method to spread those out a wee bit as well. It wasn't an issue, like it just sagged down in the middle, but there was plenty of head clearance, like there was no issue whatsoever. And that cost me £12 on eBay. And I think it was sold as brand new, so certainly hammock camping does not need to be expensive. You can get some cracking bargains. Like even got this wee Patagonia lightweight puffy, which is great, and I got it for £20. It had a couple of tiny little holes on the underside of the sleeve, but just got a little bit of black nylon repair tape, and it looks identical to the material that the jacket's made of. And so yeah, this does not need to be an expensive pursuit. Yeah, and those are the little nature hike booties. They, I'm sure, helped my feet stay warm. This is a sleeping bag I was using, Kelty Lightyear 25, toasty AF, and the ultralight pillow of dreams, the IKEA Tyrrell, £1.75. Superb. Loved it. So yeah, I just wanted to show you my sleep setup just before I de-rig all this. But my underquilt is a DIY underquilt. It's a Craighopper's throw, they call it, I think, camping throw or something. Like the retail about 70 quid or something, and I got 2 different ones on sale at 35-ish or 30. So yeah, I've got a wee video anyway you can look for there with how to make one. Pretty simple. But yeah, just put wee grommets in. Right, time to de-rig this and see what the rain's gonna do. Still nice though. Yeah, I forgot about the planes. Like, the planes are flying in, especially like coming up to 10 o'clock. Like, there's a plane like every 5 minutes going into land at Belfast Aldergrove. But it also made me think about my anxieties, because I feel like there's something narcissistic about these things. It's like I have a fear of flying that I developed, even though I've flown all over the world. Terrified of flying now. And I'm seeing all these planes, and I would never think that any single one of those planes is not going to land safely. And if my friends were saying I'm away off to wherever in the world, wouldn't think, oh, they're going to crash. It's just me. If I'm in a plane, I'm going to crash. And it's a bit like even coming out camping. If like some of my mates said they were going off camping on their own somewhere in some forest, I'd be like, woo, awesome, great stuff. But whenever I'm doing it, it's like, oh, something's going to happen. So yeah, I think there's some narcissistic element to that. Some sort of self-absorption. Right. My other thought is, I have a thought that I'm going to actually try and de-rig the hammock and just pack it into my rucksack all together. Puffy jacket, down booties, sleeping bag, hammock, underquilt, just all in one, into the rucksack. That's how I roll. And then everything gets aired out anyway whenever I get home, so the quicker it gets into the rucksack, the better. That was one of the best ideas I've ever had. That was class. That took like 2 seconds. No, well, maybe 30 seconds. The whole thing, one unit, into the rucksack. Fantastic. Wonder if I should just keep it that way and then pull it out when I get to camp. No, don't do that, Ricky. Don't do it. And always remember to bring a wee bag for your rubbish. For me, that's 3 cans, empty cans of beer. And I even pack out my toilet tissue that I've used. I don't like sticking that in a hole and burying it. So. Also, I highly recommend the GSI poop trowel, cat hole trowel or whatever. Like, you can dig proper holes with it, and it's got a good handle on it. I can't imagine digging a deep enough hole with one of those little titanium ones with the hard edges on it. There's no way I could grip that in the same way, and this is super tough. So I'm actually able to dig proper holes for poops. Right, I committed to this. I'm taking a tarp down. The rain has just started. So here goes nothing. Get the seat packed away probably first. No, I'll get the tarp in. Okay, right. Better get going. At least get my waterproof on, ready for it. So I need to have a mantra when I'm packing up with, like, don't forget your ridgeline, don't forget your ridgeline, don't forget your ridgeline, or something, like a wee song. Because honestly, the amount of times I've nearly left my ridgeline. Last thing to pack away. Right. And then that's it. Whoop. That's it. Rain's coming on now. All packed away. Tarp went on top, and even with the even lighter rain that is now, you could feel the dampness on it. So hopefully good timing, but it's meant to be heavy rain, so just get moving. But no trace, even the wee fire that I had, all doused and covered. It's like, thank you to this lovely spot. Got to see an osprey. Got to see a big orange moon rising last night. Surrounded by bird song. Until next time. Until next time. Just out of the forest now and heading down the road. All downhill, thankfully. You can see Belfast Lough, misty and rainy. Lovely, actually, lovely atmosphere to it. Quite liking it. So here's the downhill walks. Whoop. So this is what I was walking up yesterday. And that really looks like 40 degrees. 16% just makes it sound so small and negligible. But look at that there, like so wee smidgen of 45 in it. With 16 kilograms in your back. I'm glad it's downhill now. Keeping low gear. Tell you what, on the way up, I was definitely in low gear. Definitely. There's no other gear going. There's a ghost ship. I see a big cruise ship coming into Belfast. Because cruise season has begun. I think that's the Viking. Probably has about 2,500 people on board. Come to buy souvenirs in Belfast and see the Titanic Museum. Welcome. I'm delighted. Hash browns and baked beans. So happy. Hash browns, baked beans, loads of tomato sauce. Yes, for the win.